What's up, guys? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our videos. Also, make sure you follow us all over social media so you don't miss any of our content or show announcements. Obviously, Cooper Flagg going to the Dallas Mavericks, almost certainly. You said that this is the second highest grade in your draft guide in the last decade behind Victor Wembanyama. Explain for everybody why you're so high on Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, he's just the safest player, really, that I've evaluated. He's even safer than Victor on some level because Victor had dealt with injuries previously. But like speaking to the competitiveness aspect, like the toughness, the physicality, the willingness to like fight and scratch and claw for every inch, like Cooper Flagg just completely changed the entire program at Duke through his presence as a freshman who was like, I think 17 when he got there. Like he completely changed everything that they did. You hear at USA basketball last summer in the select camp, like he went there and it was like totally fearless, had no issues, was completely comfortable, and was one of the better players on the select team last year of guys that are in the NBA and presumably should be starring in the NBA, even though they might not be quite there yet, right? So there's going to be no fear with him entering the NBA. He is an incredible defender. His positional defense is unbelievable. He has some stuff with like high hips, I think, where he'll, not even high hips, just like a little bit stiffness through his hips, maybe, where he will get beaten a little bit more often on the ball than what I think people expect. But he's really good at leading his man into the help, even when he does get beaten off the ball. And his recovery ability is awesome. He gives consistent second and third efforts. He just completely understands how to process the game, how to map the court. He's going to be a real defensive playmaker. Offensively, he developed into a serious mismatch threat who became an awesome shot maker this year. Reminds me like a little bit of the way that Pascal Siakam gets it done, right? Where he is, yes, very capable of getting a smaller guy on a switch and just beating them to the rim, right? Like he will be able to just like use his athleticism and burst to be able to get all the way to the basket. He's like 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan. Like there are no issues there. Then there are also moments where he's going to find like 8 to 10 points a game by cutting and establishing position that way, or just getting a backdoor cut to the rim and scoring, getting out in transition, running the court, leading the break, or just like filling lanes, or offensive rebounding and being able to crash the glass consistently and find points that way. It's like the best dirty work player in the class, kind of, while also being this real mismatch threat who can break you down off the dribble, get to a step back jumper, get to a turnaround jumper, make them going to both his right and to his left. He's a ridiculous player. He's a completely absurd basketball player. For somebody to be 18 years old and have this kind of a complete basketball game is absurd. It's completely ridiculous. It does not happen, guys. I'm telling you, it does not happen where guys are this complete when they're young. I think that this is going to be like a top 5 guy in the league at some point in terms of like impacting winning. Some people will complain about the questions he has, like being able to separate from his man, but I think he might just develop into such a good shooter because he's such a good worker that it's not going to matter. Like he's going to shoot over the top of these guys and it's going to be fine.
I think that's the Tatum comp that you keep seeing thrown around, is like this idea of a guy who is incredibly versatile, that does literally everything well at every level of both sides of the ball. But Tatum has this tendency to struggle to get leverage against the peak defenders in the league downhill. I love
Yep.
that you brought up Siakam, because to me, that is the big difference between Cooper and Tatum. Tatum loves taking jump shots. And it's not just a getting separation thing. It's not just a first step thing. Like Tatum has a pretty jump shot and he loves taking it. And it's just like part of like his
Yeah.
basketball character. He loves to take jump shots. Cooper has that downhill attacking attitude. It literally looks like he's playing on a slant downhill towards the rim. You could tell that's part of his approach on a possession to possession basis. That, to me, he is the quintessential example of everything you mentioned off the top of the show today in terms of dribble, shoot, pass, defend. He is that at 6'10". He is that
Yeah.
at this level of athleticism that you don't see too often with his size. He is that, but like everything isn't just, we talk about the role players, we're going to talk about VJ Edgecombe and what he might be able to become as like a role player, dribble, shoot, pass, defend kind of guy. Cooper does it, but like everything's an A minus or better already. And it's only going to
Yeah, it
continue
is.
to get better as team as things expand. Like I loved your breakdown in your guide about kind of like people don't realize because at Duke it wasn't quite the same, but he was an incredible defensive playmaker before college, like a legitimate like 5 stocks a game kind of
Like
guy who would just put up absurd
historic.
numbers.
Yeah, like truly historic defensive playmaker before he got to college. Like there's a game if you want to go watch him against the Spanish national team. He's playing under 17 World Cup in the gold medal match uh, against a team that had like Ethan Almanza and Adai Mara, like high major college players to, high level professional basketball players in Almanza's case. He was, oh, I can't remember if he was 14 or 15, right? Like he was super young. He's like at least 2 years below his age group, or 2 year playing up 2 years with his age group with, you know, the best players in his age group in the literal world. Was 2 years playing up, right? He had like 9 blocks and 5 steals or something in this game. He completely dominated the game just through defensive activity. It's honestly one of the coolest games I've ever seen a player play at that level, where he just completely took it over through being a dog and like deciding, yeah, nope, you guys aren't doing anything with me today. No matter what, I might not have the skill level that you guys do, but I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to beat you guys at the end of the day.
He has this, and you broke this down really well in your guide as well, that this like anticipation piece and this competitiveness piece too, that all I could think about, as I'm watching him through the NCAA tournament and as I'm watching film this morning, I just imagine him within 3-4 years of NBA basketball becoming such a high level defensive processor too, as a guy that can kind of suss out actions and get out in front of them. He has this like rangy ability to cover ground, which is super valuable. Within the respective within the context of Dallas, do you
Yeah.
think, because I love the idea of watching Cooper and Anthony Davis play defense together. Do you think he has the ability to play the three alongside AD in a center?
I do. I think the best thing that they will do is probably when they're playing him at the 4 and playing AD at the 5. But they obviously have Derek Lively, and they're going to want to get Derek Lively on the court as much as possible too. I do think he can play the 3. I don't really see an issue there at all. He's comfortable enough playing with the ball, playing in ball screens. Defensively, he's going to be able to handle it, no problem. Uh, I think he'll probably be a little bit better at the 4, if you made me guess. Really, what I want him to be able to do is just roam around and be like a monster help defender. Like that would be the best role for him, is if you could find a way to actualize that in his game, because that's what he was in high school, and he was just like truly elite at that in high school, just roaming around and being able to wreak havoc across the court that way. Look, I might like be, a little bit too strong on Cooper or something. I actually kind of love this Dallas team build now, like in a real way. I think Nico fell ass backwards into it and probably doesn't deserve a whole lot of credit for it. But like, you tell me that you're giving me Cooper, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively, and then you're going to get Kyrie back as well, probably late next season, fully healthy, probably in 2026, 27. Man, like it'll depend on how Clay ages. It'll depend on how Kyrie comes back from the injury. You could sell me that team's a title contender. Like you could, maybe not year 1, obviously, but year 2 Cooper, if Kyrie's fully healthy, like you could sell me that's like a 55-win team if it breaks right for them and they make the right moves. Like they're going to figure out like how to utilize the Daniel Gafford asset, the PJ Washington asset this year. There are things they're going to figure out. And I think they're going to struggle a little bit this year just because they don't have that offensive playmaker right now. But dude, like that infrastructure is really sick. I think I am a fan of it for sure.
It'd be a fun year to get the ball to Cooper a lot and just
I
kind of
think
see
so
what
too.
he can do on the ball, especially, like He to me is the versatility you mentioned to me also comes in the form of offensive utility in the sense that this word kind of does bring me back to Tatum, where I see him being a guy who can play low post, high post face up, ball screens, inverted ball screens. I can literally see him functioning in so many different types of actions that I kind of see him being kind of like a shapeshifter, so to speak, as Dallas is going through a very kind of tumultuous era in terms of roster turnover. Because I wouldn't be surprised. I think they could move Gafford and they could move PJ Washington this summer. I think they probably should, considering they're starting caliber players that don't have a role on this team in the starting lineup. But you could talk me into Dallas going into the season with a glut of forwards and just being like, let's see how this goes, and then we'll make a move at the deadline. And if that's the case, like you're going to get to see a lot of this sort of versatility from Cooper and him filling all these different types of positions. I have my concerns about his absolute top end just simply because of like some of the first step quickness and like ability to get
Sure.
separation from elite defenders. But the way you characterized him as like the safest bet is where I fall firmly in line with you. Like there's just no chance, barring injury, that Cooper Flagg isn't a very, very, very good NBA player. He's
Yeah.
like bust proof in that regard, just because there is this combination of A-minus traits at every position. Is he the biggest, most athletic forward of all time? No, but he's going to be one of the bigger and more athletic forwards in the NBA. Is he the best ball handling forward? No, but he's going to be one of the better ball handling forwards in the NBA. Like he's
Yeah.
above average at every single considerably above average at every single trait. And then it goes back to what we talk about at the top. He's just an MFer, dude. He's just going
Oh
out there with
yeah.
his hair on fire, trying to win every single game and trying to gain every single advantage. And that to me is the kind of guy that you want to build your franchise around.